The appointed hour to call to order the April 25th, 2013 meeting of the Oklahoma City Airport Trust, and I will so do. And the first item on the agenda is to swear in our new surrogate trustee, David Greenwell. So, Francis, if you would please. Welcome, David.
Place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, David Greenwell,
I, David Greenwell,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
and that I will not knowingly receive, directly or indirectly, any money or other valuable thing for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty pertaining to my office other than the compensation allowed by law. I further swear that I will faithfully discharge my duties to the best of my ability as a surrogate trustee for the mayor to the Oklahoma City Airport Trust. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the March 28th, 2013 meeting and the April 10th special airport meeting.
Move approval.
Second. Please cast your votes. So approved. Director's report.
No director's report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Next on the item is to receive the Oklahoma City Airport Trust budget.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and next month we will have a formal presentation and an item to approve the budget for fiscal year 2014.
So do we need a motion to receive it, Francis?
Yes.
Okay.
A motion to receive and to set it for approval.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. And is so ordered. Will Rogers World Airport.
Thank you. Item A is to concur with the approval of the final plans for the Portland Avenue realignment project and approve the participation agreement. Item B is to approve change order number 3 for the senior lane mechanical system replacement fiscal year 11 projects at Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center, adding $23,149.50 in 13 calendar days. Item C is approving amendment number 1 to the contract for the professional services agreement with C.H. Guernsey and Company for the senior lane mechanical system replacement project. This is for a number of projects, 13 buildings for fiscal year 12, 13, and 14, a multi-year project adding $1,781,517. Item D has to deal with the pre-qualification and our new project at the airport for our checked baggage inspection system. However, before I go on with item D and subsequent items for Will Rogers, I'd like to introduce Rick Johnson with Frankfurt Short Brews to come up and do a brief presentation with John Hurd with BNP, who was the design expert on this project. Rick?
Thank you, Mark. My name is Rick Johnson. I'm a partner with Frankfurt Short Brews Associates in Oklahoma City. With me today I have Byron Morris, who is our project manager for this project, and as Mark mentioned, John Hurd, who is our baggage handling expert with BNP, which has an international reputation in the design of baggage handling systems. Just to orient you, John's going to walk us through in detail the design of the project and the sequencing that we came up with. Just to orient you on this first slide here, this is the existing baggage handling system. What you're looking at is the bag room, which is directly, it's at ground level directly underneath the concourse in the main terminal. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to John, and he's going to walk us through it.
Good morning. My name is John Hurd. I'm a project director with BNP Associates, and we've been in the baggage handling system design for over 40 years. And probably for the last 15 years, very closely associated with CBIS design on behalf of the TSA. The CBIS is the checked baggage screening systems are now being implemented virtually in all airports. What we have in the existing airport here, or the existing system in Oklahoma City, is a what we call pre-PGDS design. The TSA have produced a document called the Planning Design Guidelines, and that design guideline is now up to version 4.1. The system we currently have here is at system 0. It was pre any design guidelines. What we have is 7 existing dedicated systems. So each ticket counter has its own line that feeds into a dedicated machine to a dedicated makeup device. There is no redundancy. So if we have a failure with either the machine, the makeup, or the ticketing, and it's a major failure, the airline has to move to carry on their operation. They move their ticketing, they also have to move their makeup, and then the TSA also have to move their operation. So there's no redundancy. So there's a lot of impact on the airline, and there's impact on the passenger, because now they've got to relocate and check in somewhere else. So the scope of work we were provided with was to reduce the number of machines, give ourselves redundancy. The machines have to be replaced because they've exceeded their design guidelines, or the design life. They're currently designed around a 7-year to 10-year, and we've exceeded that. So hence we are seeing a lot more failures. And we needed to bring this system up to meet the current guidelines, 4.1. As a result, we did analysis using flight schedule based on an opening of the system around 2014, 2015, with a 5-year growth period on top of that. So we're designed throughout 2019. We've also taken into account any terminal expansion as well, which was discussed early in the design. As a result, we ended up with a matrix, a fully redundant, what we call CBIS, which is the checked baggage system, with 2 machines. We end up with 2 machines. These machines obviously are current technology, and they're a higher throughput than the old machines. And we also get, the TSA provides a redundant machine, so we end up with N+1, 2+1. So we end up with 3 machines, so we've got more than enough capacity for growth throughout 2019, 2020, with no changes. The system has also been designed that should they elect to replace that machine down the road with an even higher throughput machine, the conveyor system does not need to be changed. We've accommodated for even higher throughput through the machines. So now we have redundancy in the machine count, definitely an improved security for tracking the bags with the new protocols that we're following. It meets the current design guidelines, it's sized for growth, and more important, and as importantly, construction of the system doesn't impact any of the inbound system, and it's going to have minimal impact on the passenger experience. Very briefly, the way the CBIS operates is we're going to collect the bags from the check-in counters. They're going to come down the blue lines and be collected and fed into the matrix, and they'll go into one of the 3 machines automatically. The machine will scan the bag and determine if it's a suspect bag or a clear bag. All the clear bags, which can amount to about 70–80% of the bags that go through, would automatically go out and go to the sortation system on the blue lines. Anything that's suspect, an image will come up in what we call the on-screen resolution room, the OSR room, where an operator there will review that image. It'll automatically come up, and they will make a determination if they feel it's clear or suspect. If it's clear, they're going to press the clear button, and the bag will automatically get sent to the sortation and to the makeup. If it's suspect, it will go into what we call the SEBA room, which is a check bag resolution room, where the TSA will actually open the bag at that stage and do what they do with their protocols. Once they determine it's clear, the bag will then get re-inducted into the system and go out. We're providing an automated sortation system, so the bags can go to any of the makeups depending on the flight schedule. So what we're actually providing is a common use system, so any airline can use any ticket counter and go to any makeup device. There's no restriction. There's no dedicated makeup or ticketing now. So it's a fully automated common use system. We spent a lot of time with the airlines and the airport coming up with a sequencing plan that would minimize any impact mainly on the passenger and the airlines. And I'll briefly run through the sequencing plan. In sequence one, which is a demo phase, we're going to move Frontier from their existing ticket counter to a new location. And what that does is it frees up 3 makeup devices today. And we'll demo out that area, and it allows us to install about 70% of the whole system. So that the CBIS, the screening area, and the first makeup device will get installed. We will test all that, get it certified. The TSA will actually come in and do their full certification and give us a little gold seal of approval. And then at that stage, we can then start screening live bags. So the first airline and the sortation system will be up and running. So the first airline can then move on and start using the system. From then on, we start to sequence throughout the bag room by basically taking out one of the existing makeup devices and putting in a new. And we just keep progressing through the bag room. So at the end of it, we end up with still our 7 makeup devices, which we have today. So we end up with 7 makeup devices. All the ticket counters are now connected into the system. And we do one big final test to check the whole system. That will be done off hours, and then it's certified, and the system will go into use. At that point, I'll hand back to Rick to go over some of the other details.
Sorry, no cool accent from me. Construction estimate, our estimate of construction cost is right at $22 million at this point. TSA funds 90% of the authorized portions that they will, portions of the project, not the total amount. So that works out to $18.9 million of TSA funding, and the trust-funded portion is roughly $3 million. As far as schedule goes, bid openings will occur June 11th of this year, with the contract award on June 27th. Once contract is awarded, there will be no immediate activity at the airport. The first phase of the project will be shop drawing phase for the entire system, which the successful contractor will produce their shop drawings for the entire system. We will review, approve, and that's quite a lengthy process. That's estimated to be about 6 months. So on-site demolition of the sequence 1 will begin in January of 2014. That, as John said, is the major portion of the project. That puts the matrix online, and that's estimated to be 9 months. So with commissioning, which is done by TSA, we expect that to be in October of 2014. And then the follow-on sequences 3 through 10 will occur rather rapidly, and construction completion will be in April of 2015. Regarding operations and maintenance, this is a pretty unique system. I've learned a lot of jargon from John here about different buzzwords and whatnot, but it's a fairly unique system. It's common in the industry for O&M operations to be handled by the successful baggage contractor for a period of time. This allows a transfer of technical knowledge from the builder/operator to the trust. So that's in the contract. We have a 2-year duration for O&M by the successful BHS contractor. We have an option, 1-year option for the following 3 years, so we could go up to 5 years if you so desire. And the estimated yearly cost for that will be roughly $1 million. This concludes the presentation. I'd like to entertain any questions. If not, I would say thank you and go Thunder.
I do have one question, okay. Rick. How long does it take a bag normally to go through that system?
From the furthest checking point to the furthest makeup, the guidelines were that it must be less than 10 minutes. So that includes going through screening. That's for the 95th percentile. For the bags that go in and get opened and stuff, we have no control. So for 95th percentile, it's less than 10 minutes.
That's pretty remarkable.
That's the longest possible travel distance.
Yeah. Thank you.
To the traveling public, as this is all going on, what will they experience?
This all occurs in the baggage room. The ticket counters are unaffected, other than some of there will be some juggling of the airlines from one counter to the other. The ticket counters are largely unaffected. There is some refurbishment of the belts right behind the ticket counter, which will occur off hours. And the baggage claim area is unaffected as well. So, minimal impact to the traveling public because all this work is behind the scenes.
Very good. No more questions? Thank you. Then we'll move on with this item associated with the presentation. Item D is to approve addendas 1 and 2 for the request for pre-qualification for the checked baggage system, accept the list of pre-qualified bidders, approve the plans and project manual, and authorize distribution of the plans and the bids to be opened on June 11th. Item E is to accept the completed closed-circuit television system project. This is a Phase 2 project with TSA funded 100%. Item F is to approve the request for artist submissions for the public art at the Consolidated Rental Car Facility that's in design at this point. Authorize advertisement for the submissions to be received on May 21st. Item G is approving the request for bids for a pricing agreement for compressed natural gas passenger buses, authorizing the advertisement for bids to be opened on May 21st. The reason we're going out this early is it takes 12 to 14 months to build these buses. Item H is receiving the staff recommendation on the statements of qualifications received on March 15th. This is the qualifications we submitted to our existing rental car companies at the airport and any other off-airport rental car companies in a wide distribution. A committee reviewed those qualifications and recommended approval. I endorse that recommendation for Advantage Rent-A-Car, Alamo Rent-A-Car, Avis Rent-A-Car, Budget Rent-A-Car System, Dollar Car Rental, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Hertz Corporation, National, and Thrifty Car Rental as qualified participants. We've rejected 3 qualifications from Payless Car Rentals, Easy Rent-A-Car, and Silver Car. Item I is to adopt the resolution authorizing the sole source systems agreement with Infax Incorporated. They provide telephone, electronic hardware, and software assistance and diagnose problems associated with our flight information display system at the airport. This item approves the agreement with Infax for 3 years. That's all items under Will Rogers.
Okay, you've heard the items under Will Rogers. What are the trustees' desires? We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Cast your votes. And Will Rogers is accepted. Next on our agenda is Wiley Post and Clarence E. Page.
Item A is to approve the concur with the consultant review committee and authorize negotiation of a contract for an agreement with Garver Engineers for the project to replace and upgrade basically all of the airfield lighting components at Wiley Post Airport. Item B is to adopt the resolution supporting the Oklahoma City Airport Trust continued operation of the air traffic control tower staffing at Wiley Post Airport on a temporary basis, and this is anticipating the FAA ceasing funding for the staffing of the tower on June 15th. Just a note on this resolution, it does support continued operations of the control tower, and this authorizes the director to pursue any proposals and options that may be out there in an effort to continue operations, including either cost sharing or temporary funding on an interim basis or emergency basis through the FAA non-federal tower program. So we're in the midst of still identifying costs to determine what it would cost to operate the tower, and we're working with the FAA on that, and we'll be talking with them about alternative options as well. That's all the items under general aviation.
What are the desires of the trustees? Move approval. Motion second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes. And it is so approved. General.
Item A is to receive the delinquent accounts receivable report, construction project status report, and the budget to actual reports. Item B is to ratify the action of the director in concurring with the consultant review committee in selecting Frankfurt Short Bruza Associates as the highest ranked firm interviewed for the facilities maintenance engineer on-call contract at Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center, approving the agreement with Frankfurt Short Bruza Associates. Item C is approve addendum number 1 to the 2013 annual painting repairs and maintenance contract, awarding the contract to Cherokee Painting for 1 year, $300,000 or 1 year, whichever is first, and approving their contract and bonds. That's all the items under general.
You've heard the items under general. What are the trustees' wishes?
Second.
The motion is second. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. And it's so adopted. Next item on our agenda, lease agreements.
Item A is to approve an off-airport rental car concession agreement between the Trust and Simply Wheels, LLC, doing business as Advantage Rent-A-Car for its rental car operation concessionaires off-airport locations for 1 year at Will Rogers World Airport. Item B is approving the assignment and assumption agreement, assigning the lease agreement between the Trust and Irwin and/or Juanita Heckles for the lease of Block 6, Lot 6 as a hangar site for the storage of privately owned aircraft to Gary Lake, effective May 14th at Clarence E. Page Airport. Item C and D are assumption agreements and use guarantees for T-hangar units out at Wiley Post Airport, swapping hands from one party to another with PWA Incorporated. And item E is approving several ground services agreements with hotels and motels, and also other ground transportation companies such as taxis and shuttles, and we'll probably have some more on for the next month or two until they all renew. That's all the items under the leases.
Okay, you've heard the items listed under lease agreements. What are the trustees' desires?
Move we approve the lease agreements.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Seeing none, and it's so ordered. Next is item 10.
Move approval.
Second.
The motion is second. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. And it's so ordered. Any comments from trustees? Seeing none. Any comments from staff? Seeing none. Are there any citizens who wish to be heard? Seeing none, we are adjourned. You, sir?